Yeah, a gathering of minds, hearts, and artistry live on in all of us. The complete poems and performers' profiles will be accessed via the QR code that you see on your screen.
But wait, there's more. We're not done yet. The night is far from over. We still have some more performances for everyone. Joining the UP Jazz Ensemble, we welcome an advocate for cultural heritage conservation, lawyer, civil servant, and an acclaimed poet and playwright. He is also a 2024 UPAA Distinguished Alumni Awardee for Culture and the Arts. Now you have to use your imagination again so you don't see him as Ricky Lee. And so we call on our good friend Floyd Douglas Nicholas B. Pichai with an excerpt from Poets in Tumultuous Afraid. I'm so afraid.
If there is jazz music, there is jazz poetry. Nick will be regaling us with jazz poetry with the UP Jazz Ensemble. Jazz poetry is a special genre fusing the qualities of jazz, syncopation, improvisation, swings, and slides to literature.
Can you hear me? I'm not Ricky Lee anymore. I'm Nick Pichai, and this is a poem that I derived from Article 251 of the Revised Penal Code, where death is present in tumultuous affray, poets in tumultuous affray. I want to touch you with my tongue, like a lizard's, reaching out into the void for a taste of putrid fruit, and to name that which is decaying. I want to name things: disease, the breakdown of systems, the ineptitude of governments, the descent of the soul. I want to capture the screech of the bat who first bit the man, who in his veins began the journey of the virus, and how the bat, before it died, looking at the mass graves, felt the pride of Shiva in its infectious blood. I want to speak of death, especially that it has become common, and in its ordinariness has become its nature as sentiment and commodity. In this gasping world, you have felt unmoored. It may have crossed your mind to say a prayer for salvation. Perhaps you had conjured an incantation of defense that you keep like a sword close to your chest, ready at attention, beside you at all times. Or you might have, under the full moon, spelled out a hex with the fresh blood from your arm and wrote on the outside of your door a set of holy words to keep out the bad. We command, you shall not pass, knowing that airborne, parasite, and host cannot resist the seduction of air. Could we be thankful for this world revealed for what it truly is behind the mechanisms of business and the machinations of politics? Ha! Life persists despite the fragility of breath. Every day, we cradle a crystal universe with clumsy hands. And all I can do is to write poems. How could art be noble when it is just a string of words, a tune, a mere melody, a voice straining to reach the highest note? How could art be noble when art and corruption, beauty and genocide, memorials and the war against drugs both equally endure? For a poem is like a virus. that in spite of your indifference and isolation, it seeks you, enters you, infects you, battles with your immune system. And so too, there must be violence in art, where words must confront us, hurt us, bring us to the brink of death, and then if we are resuscitated, upon our resuscitation, leave us scarred. We are in times of tumultuous affray. And the poets, where are the artists? Like the many jobs that have gone extinct by task and toil, the poet has lost his command of the world. Words unmoored have tangled into thorny limbs. How foolish to think that we deserve a world better than this, and cling to the hope that in the infinite embrace of space and time there is a God or an alien who looks upon us and says, "You will be saved," where saved is another word for disappear. Because from the void, we were born in poetry. Let there be light. And this light begins the destruction of a million things ever expanding. Here, in this fight, there is no contest, for the poet is of no moment with what the moment is saying. If poetry is a covenant between the poet and the muse, the voice and the ear, can this be our pact while we are still alive? That as our world slows down in its old age, a castle surrounded with a moat, warriors outside our tower windows destined to loot and rape, pillage and destroy, we, seated by our throne, surrounded by the fool we have always loved and treated badly. And the traitors we thought were friends are now swinging axes at our heads, cracking our skulls. Cannibals towards us, salivating at the smell of the sweet meats of our internal organs. Promise me that you will stay alive, that you will fight to be the last one standing to receive this, Ars Poetica, a beat, a breath, a throb, the stone from which all houses have been built and giving shelter to all, how it has smoothened to the size of a seed. And at that moment of vanishing, you, standing on the precipice, waiting for the sureness that is to come all things, when you take that one last breath, the proof of time's sublime joke, with the seed in your hand, gather your strength, and with the might of our love, quickly, hurl it into the stars!
Wow, amazeballs.
Maraming salamat, Nicholas Pichay.